Welcome to this week's final edition of the Brandstand, where we help business leaders to understand how investing in their brand strategy can help them to grow their business. I'm Crimot Void, founder of Beyond Brand, and I've been helping businesses to stand out from their competitors for over 20 years now, enabling them to attract more of their ideal customers and then keep them for longer by using our approach. In this episode, we'll be covering the uncomfortable reality of the next 6 months, specifically looking at why waiting for a recovery from COVID-19 is not going to get you through Wave 2. Well, waiting for a recovery is not something that any of us are going to have the luxury of, because Wave 2 is inevitable, isn't it? Well, maybe, or Wave 1 may continue for longer, but one thing's for sure, disruption is here for some time. And we've only got to look at the local disruptions and even the foreign trends to see that the UK is in this for some time now, and nobody really knows what's going to happen until we get a vaccine in place. And that's what's needed before we can start to really have confidence in that recovery. But a little bit like exposure theory in terms of how we deal with fear. So most people's fears revolve around spiders more than anything else. And when you're trying to get people to feel confident again, then you need to deal with that exposure theory in a way that is a little bit like you first of all feel comfortable seeing a spider, then you can go near a spider, then you can hold a spider as eventually. What's going to happen here with this period of time is that people are going to need to feel confident knowing that they can get back to doing what they used to do, seeing that that's happening, and eventually expanding into them experiencing that. So how you help them into that period is what's going to take us beyond Wave 2 or even Wave 1, disrupting our businesses for the longer term. And as well as that, we've seen that funding is finite. The government has been very clear on this. They've really changed their tune recently. The furlough scheme is ending, and actually that will impact quite a lot of people, and we'll really see the difference starting to happen as those schemes come to an end and those companies now start to cut their cloth and reshape and restructure their businesses. The loans will run out, so waiting is not an option. You have to do something if you're going to survive and if you're going to become a business throughout the back end of this recession and this pandemic. So what will happen is that value opportunities will be available at a better cost during a recession because less people will be spending. So how do you create the opportunity? By making sure that you invest in the right areas as we go through that recession. Well, it's important that you spend that money wisely, but it's important that you do spend that money on things that will make a difference to your success and in your business being the one that people choose. And in contracted markets, there will be a lot less opportunity. So what we'll see is that there will be people spending less and spending less frequently. So how deep is that period going to be for? How deep is the recession going to be? Is it going to be 6 months? Or is it as long as 36 months? Well, you know, that's some predictions that people have had. It's certainly going to sit somewhere in between those periods, and less purchases will be happening for non-essential purchases in that time. So the strong brands are the ones that will take the share of what's left. Loyalty will really be tested in that period of time. And if you want to be one of the brands that people trust and people choose to continue to use in that period, you've got to be the one that stands out in your market as being the one that they choose and that they feel most comfortable with. So make sure that you're investing in opportunities to be the choice in your marketplace. How can you be the most reliable? How can you be the most respected? How can you be the most consistent in terms of offering your solution in terms of products or services? So to summarize then, Wave 2 is inevitable. Well, maybe, or we're certainly in charge of a disruption period for some time to come, and that the funding is finite, so you're going to run out of money if you don't spend it on things that will generate revenue and make sure that you are building for the success in contracted markets, ones that have less opportunity. So how can you make sure you spend your money wisely on the things that will help you to stand out in your marketplace? Come on! Look out for next week's editions of the Brandstand, where we'll be covering growth tactics and why they can work for you even in a recession. In the meantime, if you'd like to attract more customers and then keep them for longer, click the link below where you can access a recent presentation that we did on Brand Strategy 101.